Han Su pressed his small hands against the thick glass window of the lunar colony's main dome. His dark eyes sparkled with wonder as he watched Earth float in the black sky, a beautiful blue marble decorated with swirls of white clouds. "Dad, look, I can cover Earth with my thumb," the 6-year-old boy called out excitedly to his father, Dr. Nam Ki, who stood nearby talking to other scientists. "That's wonderful, Su," Nam Ki smiled, turning away from his conversation. Today was special. The official opening of humanity's first permanent moon base. Hundreds of people had gathered in the main dome for the ceremony, including many children from the families who would live here. Han Su wore his favorite space-themed shirt, the one with rockets and stars his mother had given him before they left Earth. Dr. Park Ji couldn't come today. She had to stay behind to work on her secret project at the defense facility. She had promised to watch the ceremony live on video, though. "When can we call Mom?" Han Su asked, walking over to his father. "Soon," Nam Ki replied, checking his watch. "The ceremony starts in 10 minutes. We'll call her right after." A loud alarm cut through the dome. Red lights began flashing everywhere. Nam Ki's phone buzzed with emergency alerts, along with everyone else's devices in the room. Through the dome's glass ceiling, dark shapes appeared in the sky. They were huge, bigger than any ships Han Su had ever seen in books or movies. They didn't look like any normal spaceships. They were sharp, angular, and seemed to absorb the light around them. "Attention all personnel." A calm voice spoke over the speakers. "Unknown vessels have entered lunar space. Please remain calm and—" The message cut off. Static filled the air. Nam Ki grabbed Han Su's hand. "We need to get to the emergency shelters." His voice was steady, but Han Su could feel his father's hand shaking. Before they could move, a deep, harsh voice boomed through every speaker and device in the colony. "Humans of Earth, we are the Ravaki. Your species has been judged unworthy of joining galactic society. Surrender now, and your death will be quick. Resist, and we will make examples of you." The colony's administrator stepped forward, her voice clear and strong over the emergency channel. "We are a peaceful research installation. There are children here. One of the dark ships fired a beam of purple light. It struck the colony's power station. The lights flickered. Han Su squeezed his father's hand tighter. "Dad, I'm scared." Nam Ki pulled out his phone and quickly connected a call. Park Ji's face appeared on the screen, her eyes wide with fear as she watched everything happening from Earth. "Mom," Han Su called out, trying to smile for her. "Baby, I love you so much," Park Ji said, tears running down her face. "Both of you, I love." Another blast rocked the colony. Cracks began appearing in the dome above them. Nam Ki pulled Han Su close, shielding him with his body. All around them, people were running, screaming, trying to reach the shelter doors. "Mom, the ceiling is breaking," Han Su said quietly into the phone. "But don't be sad. I'm not scared anymore. Dad's with me. And I know you'll make them pay for being mean." Those were Han Su's last words. The dome shattered. The vacuum of space rushed in. The phone, still transmitting, tumbled through the chaos before going dark. On Earth, in her secure facility, Park Ji watched the feed go dead. Her son's final message played over and over in her mind. She stood up slowly, tears drying on her face. She pressed a button on her desk. "Begin Project Guardian," she commanded. "Wake up the fleet." The war for Earth was about to begin. Dr. Park Ji had not slept for 3 days since the lunar colony attack. Dark circles showed under her eyes as she stood before the United Earth Council. On the giant screen behind her, Han Su's final message played silently. It had become the most watched video in human history. "They killed our children," she said, her voice strong and clear in the quiet room. "They thought we would break. They were wrong." The council chamber sat deep underground in a bunker beneath the mountains of New Zealand. Leaders from every nation on Earth listened as Park Ji pressed a button on her tablet. The screen changed to show a new image. "For 30 years, we have kept a secret," she continued. "In 1989, an alien scout ship crashed in the ocean. We hid this from the public. Every country worked together to study it, to learn from it, to prepare." Gasps filled the room. Park Ji didn't pause. Project Guardian was born from that crash. Hidden factories in the asteroid belt. Ships built in secret. A fleet waiting for the day we would need it. She showed them pictures of massive shipyards carved into asteroids. We knew they would come. We just didn't know when. An old general stood up. "How many ships do we have?" 500, ready to launch. Another 1,000 nearly complete. Park Ji's eyes hardened. "The Ravaki think they caught us sleeping. They don't know that every satellite we've launched in the past 20 years carried weapons. Every space station hides missile bays. We are not helpless." On screens around the room, new images appeared. Hidden doors opened in the moon's far side, revealing rows of warships. Secret bases on Mars powered up. Asteroid bases came to life. "The first wave of ships is ready," Park Ji said. "I ask this council to approve their launch. I ask you to let us show the Ravaki that humanity will not die quietly." The council president leaned forward. "These ships, what are their capabilities?" "Better than the Ravaki expect," Park Ji answered. "Their scout ship taught us much. We improved on their designs, made them better, stronger." She paused. "I've named the first battle group Hands Honor." The room went quiet again. Everyone had seen the video. Everyone knew her loss. "The Ravaki Empire stretches across 50 star systems," she continued. "They think size makes them strong, but they don't understand what they've awakened. Every ship we launch carries Han Su's last message. Every alien world will know what they did to our children." The council president stood. "We need to vote. All in favor of launching the fleet." Every hand in the room rose. Park Ji nodded and touched her tablet again. Deep in space, engines started to burn. Hidden doors opened. Ships that had waited years in darkness came to life. "Commander Li Du will lead the first attack," she said. "The Ravaki have 3 battle groups near Jupiter. They think they're safe there. They're wrong." On screens across Earth, people watched as humanity's secret fleet revealed itself. The ships were beautiful and deadly, painted dark blue like Earth's oceans. Each one carried Han Su's image on its hull. Park Ji looked at the pictures of the ships launching, of humanity's answer to alien cruelty finally showing itself. "My son believed we would make them pay," she said quietly. He was right. In space, the first wave of Earth's fleet moved into formation. 500 ships, built in secret, crewed by people who had trained for years in hidden bases. They had one mission: to show the galaxy that humanity would not fall. The real war was about to begin. Commander Li Du stood on the bridge of his flagship, First Light. Through the main window, he watched Jupiter's huge red storm spin below. His fleet of 500 ships moved silently through space, hidden by their dark blue coating that absorbed radar and light. "Enemy ships detected," his sensor officer reported. 3 Ravaki battle groups. "They don't see us yet." Li Du nodded. He touched the small picture of Han Su that every captain kept on their control panel. Then he gave the order everyone had waited years to hear. "Begin the attack." Earth's ships moved like sharks through dark water. They split into 3 groups, each targeting a different Ravaki battle group. The alien ships were bigger, but size wasn't everything. "Play the message," Li Du commanded. "Let them hear what they've done." On every frequency, Han Su's last words began to broadcast. The child's brave voice filled space around Jupiter. "I'm not scared anymore. Dad's with me. And I know you'll make them pay for being mean." The Ravaki ships suddenly came alive, their sensors finally spotting Earth's fleet. But it was too late. The first wave of Earth's new weapons hit them before they could raise their shields. Beams of blue light, based on the technology from the crashed scout ship, but made better by human engineers, cut through Ravaki armor like paper. "Their shields are different from what we expected," Li Du's weapons officer called out. "Our weapons work better than in the simulations." The Ravaki tried to fight back. Their purple beam weapons fired into space, but Earth's ships were too fast, too nimble. 30 years of preparation showed in every move the human fleet made. "Ravaki commander is broadcasting," communications reported. "Let's hear it," Li Du said. A harsh voice filled the bridge. "This is impossible. You are a primitive species. You cannot have this technology." Li Du pressed his broadcast button. "You should have checked what we were doing with that scout ship you lost here 30 years ago. You should have looked harder at what we were building. Most importantly," he paused, "you should not have killed our children." Earth's ships pressed their attack. The Ravaki formations broke apart. Their mighty ships, which had destroyed so many other civilizations, found themselves being taken apart piece by a fleet they hadn't known existed. "First Ravaki battle group is retreating," sensors reported. "Second group has lost half their ships. Third group," the officer smiled. "Third group is trying to surrender." Li Du looked at the battle display. In just 30 minutes, Earth's fleet had destroyed or disabled over 40 Ravaki capital ships. The mighty alien empire had just learned a hard lesson. Humanity had not been sleeping. Humanity had been preparing. "Send to all ships," Li Du ordered. "Begin Phase 2. We're taking Mars back." As the fleet moved toward the red planet, debris from destroyed Ravaki ships floated around Jupiter. Among the wreckage, Han Su's voice continued to play, a constant reminder of why Earth had built this fleet in secret, why humanity had worked so hard to be ready. Back on Earth, in her command center, Dr. Park Ji watched the battle data come in. Her eyes were still tired, but now they held something new. Hope. "The Ravaki will send more ships," her aide said quietly. "Let them come," Park Ji replied. "We have more surprises waiting. And now they know what happens when they threaten our world." Above Jupiter, Earth's fleet regrouped and headed for Mars. This was just the beginning. The Ravaki would soon learn that humanity's revenge was just getting started. Commander Li Du looked one more time at Han Su's picture. "This is for you, little one," he whispered. "This is all for you." Captain Kim Ta walked through the halls of the captured Ravaki ship, her boots making soft sounds on the alien metal floor. 2 weeks had passed since Earth's first victory at Jupiter. Now, humans were learning everything they could from the enemy's technology. "Dr. Park Ji will want to see this," she said, touching the strange metal walls. Behind her, her team carried boxes of alien computers and weapons. Every piece would help Earth build better ships, better weapons. In Earth's hidden factories in the asteroid belt, workers didn't sleep. New ships grew like metal flowers in space. The Ravaki had expected to find a weak planet. Instead, they had woken a giant. "Captain," her radio crackled. "We found their star maps. The Ravaki Empire. It's bigger than we thought. They've destroyed 15 other civilizations before us." Kim Tae's face hardened. "Send the data to Earth, and keep looking. We need to know everything." On her tablet, she watched the latest battle reports. Earth now had over 2,000 ships ready to fight. The factories hidden in the asteroids worked faster than the Ravaki could destroy their ships. Humanity had spent 30 years getting ready for this moment. In her lab on Earth, Dr. Park Ji studied pieces of broken Ravaki ships. Her team had made an important discovery. The alien weapons had a weakness. They couldn't work well against certain Earth metals. This was why Earth's first attack had worked better than expected. "We can make our shields stronger," she told the United Earth Council through a video call. "Every Ravaki ship we destroy teaches us more. We're learning, adapting, growing stronger." The council president nodded. "The Ravaki's main fleet is coming. 10,000 ships. Can we fight them?" Park Ji smiled for the first time since losing her son. "We're not the same humans they met at the moon base. We're ready for them now." In space, Captain Kim Tae's team made another discovery. Inside the captured ship's computers, they found proof that the Ravaki had been watching Earth for years. They had seen humans building ships but thought they were simple cargo vessels. The aliens had never imagined that Earth could copy and improve their technology. They got overconfident, Kim Ta told her crew. They thought we were primitive. That's why they didn't look closer. That's why they didn't see what we were really building. Her words spread through the fleet. Every human ship now carried better weapons, stronger shields. The factories in the asteroids built faster, learned from every battle. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were getting better at war than the Ravaki. Send this to all ships, Kim Tai ordered. Show them what we found about the other civilizations the Ravaki destroyed. Show them why we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. The data went out. Every human crew learned about the 15 species the Ravaki had killed, about worlds destroyed, children lost, just like Han Su. The war wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about justice. In her lab, Park Ji touched the photo of her son she always kept nearby. You said I would make them pay, she whispered. But we're doing more than that. We're making sure they never hurt anyone else's children again. The next phase of the war was about to begin. Earth's fleet was ready to leave the solar system. The Ravaki were about to learn that they hadn't just attacked a planet. They had awakened humanity's full potential. And humanity was coming for them. Admiral Yoon's son watched as the alien refugees boarded Earth's rescue ships. The Ravaki had kept the species, the Telari, as slaves for 50 years. They looked like tall blue deer with 4 eyes, and they couldn't stop thanking their human liberators. Your ships, they broke our chains, the Telari leader said, his 4 eyes blinking with tears. No one has ever beaten the Ravaki before. No one has ever helped us. The Admiral touched the picture of Han Su on her uniform. Every human soldier wore one now. We know what it's like to lose people to them, she said. We won't let it happen again. Earth's fleet had grown stronger with each passing month. They had freed 3 alien species already, and each one joined the fight against the Ravaki. The human ships, now numbered at 5,000, were painted with the flags of Earth and their new allies. Back on Earth, Dr. Park Ji stood in her new laboratory. Around her, human scientists worked with alien helpers from the freed worlds. Each species brought new knowledge, new ways to fight. The Sun Lance is almost ready, she told the United Earth Council. On the screen behind her, a massive weapon took shape. It was bigger than any ship ever built, powered by the same energy that made stars burn. Will it work? The council president asked. The Tilari helped us solve the power problems. The Mavics showed us how to control the heat. Park Ji's eyes were tired but determined. When it's ready, not even the Ravaki's strongest shields will stop it. In space, Admiral Yoon's son's fleet approached another Ravaki slave world. But this time was different. This time, the slaves were already fighting back. They've seen the videos we sent, her communications officer reported. They've watched our battles. The whole galaxy knows about Han Su now. They know the Ravaki can be beaten. The Admiral smiled. Earth's broadcasts had done more damage than their weapons. Every freed world had seen the video of a brave little boy's last moments. Every species now knew that the mighty Ravaki had been beaten by a world they thought was weak. The Ravaki Empire is falling apart, Yoon's son told her crew. Their own people are starting to question their leaders. They're starting to ask why they need to destroy other worlds. On her screen, she watched as another group of Ravaki ships turned away without fighting. More and more of their soldiers were refusing to attack. The empire that had seemed so strong was breaking from within. Dr. Park Ji's voice came over the fleet speakers. The Sun Lance is ready. All ships return to Earth. It's time to end this. As the fleet turned homeward, Admiral Yoon's son looked at the freed worlds behind them. 50 years of Ravaki rule had ended in months because they made one simple mistake. They killed a child in front of his mother. They thought it would make Earth surrender. Instead, it had started a revolution that was changing the galaxy. "Send to all ships," Yoon's son ordered. "Tell them it's time for the final battle. Tell them we're going to the Ravaki homeworld." The Admiral touched Han Su's picture again. Thanks to him, billions of alien children were free. Thanks to him, the galaxy was changing. The Ravaki wanted to show everyone how strong they were by destroying our moon base, she told her crew. Instead, they showed the galaxy how strong we are. And we're not done yet. Earth's fleet jumped to light speed, heading home to prepare for the final battle. The Sunlance waited. The end of the war was coming. And the galaxy would never be the same. The Ravaki homeworld hung in space like a red jewel. Around it, 10,000 Ravaki ships formed a defensive wall. Behind Earth's fleet, the Sunlance moved into position, its massive form blocking out the stars. Dr. Park Ji stood on the Sunlance's bridge. After a year of war, she had left Earth to be here for the final battle. She wore the same simple necklace that held a picture of Han Su. "Play the message," she ordered. "Let everyone hear it one last time." Through space, across every channel, Han Su's voice reached not just the fleet, but the Ravaki homeworld below. "I'm not scared anymore. Dad's with me. And I know you'll make them pay for being mean." On the planet below, millions of Ravaki civilians heard the message. They had been hearing it for months now. They had seen the videos of their fleet destroying the moon base, of their leaders killing children. Many had already turned against their government. "Ravaki High Command is sending a message," the communications officer said. "Let's hear it," Park Ji replied. A deep voice filled the bridge. "You have destroyed our empire, freed our slaves, turned our people against us. What more do you want?" Park Ji stepped forward. "The truth. Tell your people the truth about why you attack other worlds, why you kill children. Tell them, or we will." Silence filled the space between the fleets. Then another voice broke in. A Ravaki civilian broadcaster from the planet. "High Command," the broadcaster called out. "We demand answers. Why did you kill that human child? Why do we destroy other worlds? Answer us." More voices joined in. The Ravaki people had seen too much, had learned too much about what their leaders had done. In space, parts of the Ravaki fleet began to move, but not toward Earth's ships. They turned their weapons toward their own command ships. Ravaki cruiser group requesting permission to surrender, communications reported. They say they have children too. They won't fight for leaders who kill the innocent. Park Ji watched as more Ravaki ships turned. The great fleet that was supposed to defend their homeworld was joining the revolution their own leaders had started by attacking a moon base. High Command vessels powering weapons, sensors called out. They're going to fire on their own ships. Sunlance's charge, weapons reported. Park Ji raised her hand. The Sunlance glowed with the power of a star. One chance, she broadcast to High Command. "Surrender, face justice, and live. Continue, and we will end this." The Ravaki command ships launched their first shots at their own rebelling fleet. "Fire," Park Ji said quietly. The Sunlance released its power. A beam of light brighter than a sun cut through space. When it hit the Ravaki command ships, their mighty shields held for 3 seconds. Then they failed. In moments, it was over. The Ravaki high command ships were gone. On the planet below, cheers erupted from billions of Ravaki citizens. They were free from leaders who had lied to them, who had turned them into monsters. "All ships report ready to accept surrender," Admiral Yoon's son reported from her flagship. Park Ji looked at her son's picture. "It wasn't just revenge," she whispered. "It was revolution, change, hope." The Ravaki homeworld sent its official surrender minutes later. The war was over. The galaxy's greatest empire had fallen, not just to Earth's weapons, but to the truth about what their leaders had done. And it had all started with one brave little boy's last message to his mother. 5 years after the final battle, Dr. Park Ji stood in the new lunar colony. Through its crystal-clear dome, She could see Earth floating in space, just as Han Su had seen it on that fateful day. But now ships from a dozen alien species flew peaceful paths between Earth and the stars. The colony's main hall had been rebuilt bigger and stronger. At its center stood a statue of a small boy pressing his hand against a window, looking at Earth with wonder in his eyes. The plaque below it read, Han Su, the child who changed the galaxy. The last HFY War criminals were sentenced today, Admiral Yoon Sun said, walking up beside Park Ji. She had aged these past years, but her eyes were still sharp. Their own people demanded the hardest punishment. Park Ji nodded. The HFY civilization had changed completely. Their new government, elected by their people, had joined the Galactic Peace Council. They now helped protect younger civilizations instead of destroying them. The Han Su Protocol goes into effect next week. Yoon Sun continued. Every species in known space has signed it. The protocol was simple. No civilization could attack another without warning. No children would ever be harmed in war again. The penalty was immediate response from the combined fleets of Earth and its allies. In the colony's busy halls, alien children played with human kids, blue-skinned Telleri young ones, floating Mavix children, even little HFY, all playing together under the Earth's light. They all wore small badges with Han Su's picture. Commander Li Du's exploration fleet found another young civilization yesterday. Yoon Sun said, "We're sending teachers and helpers, not weapons, just like the protocol says we should." Park Ji touched the statue's base. The metal was warm, like it was alive. "Su would have loved this," she said softly. "He always wanted to meet aliens, to make new friends." A small HFY girl walked up to them, her scales shining in the starlight. She held up a drawing she had made, a picture of the statue with stars all around it. "Thank you," she said in careful English. "My teacher told us about Han Su. Because of him, my people learned to be good. Because of him, I can have friends from Earth." Park Ji knelt down and hugged the child. Once, she might have felt anger seeing a HFY. Now she saw only hope for the future. The Sunlance had been turned into a space station, its great weapon replaced with gardens and schools. Earth's war fleet now carried scientists and explorers to new worlds. The factories in the asteroids built homes and hospitals for any species that needed them. The galaxy's first combined species school opens next month. Yoon Sun said, "They want to name it after Su." Park Ji smiled, watching the children play. Among them, she saw humans, Telleri, Mavix, HFY, and 3 other species all building a toy spaceship together. They were learning what their parents had learned, that the galaxy was big enough for everyone. A soft chime sounded, the daily remembrance. Every colony, every ship, every school in known space fell quiet. Han Su's voice played one last time. "I'm not scared anymore. Dad's with me. And I know you'll make them pay for being mean." But now, the message meant something different. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was a reminder of how far they had all come, of how one child's bravery had changed not just humanity, but every species that looked up at the stars. "We did make them pay." "Shoo," Park Ji whispered, watching the children return to their play. Not with weapons, but with peace. Not with destruction, but with hope. "You changed everything, my brave boy. You changed everything." Above them, Earth turned slowly in space, watched by the children of 1,000 worlds, all growing up together in the peace that came after the war. All because of one little boy who wasn't scared.